Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King. In the studio with me this evening, new first-time offender.
First time.
Jeremy Jones of Destroy the Brain.
Yeah.
And you also help produce the Late Night Grindhouse stuff?
I'm kind of hands-off with that. So Destroy the Brain's kind of the website collective podcast based in St. Louis, Missouri. Andy Triefenbach, who is the owner, has been curating Late Night Grindhouse, which is late night movie programming since 2010.
Oh yeah,
monthly shows. We are currently out at the Marcus de Pier 14.
Nice. Now Doug Wicker has come on the show and plugged the Late Night Grindhouse a bunch of times,
yes.
And then when we get off the air, I'm like, "Tell me more." And it's just where it's at. I need to schedule a time to get a hotel up there.
Yeah.
Because I would like to hang out and have some beers. It sounds like a super good time.
Oh, always.
It sounds like my kind of crowd.
Yeah.
But I also don't condone drinking and driving. So I got to go somewhere.
And that is why we're having a little slumber party here tonight. Because I live in St. Louis proper. And
right.
When I was like, oh, that's far. I was like, all right.
Just proper, man.
Cool
we got fucking toasted Revs. We got Provel pizza on cheese. What's Provel, you ask?
I pay that 1% income tax because I live in the city. You know what I mean? You do.
Yeah. So if it's your first time tuning into the show, what we do is we watch two movies. We watch one movie that one of us is like, hey, this is a fucking pretty good movie. And then we watch another one that just has something in common with it. Maybe it's schlocky. Maybe it's just bad. The dream is that it's so bad that it's good.
Or maybe it's so good that it's good.
Or so good that it's good. I'm 100% on board with things just being good. But things can also be bad. You know, happens all the time. So this is the first episode kicking off our horror movie stretch. We call it The Ween. Oh. Because we have to have a catchy name for it. Because it's like a, radio DJ thing, and Ween, it's like a dick joke. So
I am honored to be on your Ween.
We love it. We love to have you on the Ween. You've been really great on the Ween so far, and we look forward to having you on the Ween for the rest of the evening. So we as a first time guest, I always like to let the guest pick the flick, and your pick was your
reverse engineered.
Yeah, it is reverse engineered because I posted something on Instagram.
A question like, "What scary movie should we do?" Yeah, and I don't know who replied, but you shared it, Pinocchio's Revenge, and I was like, "Oh shit, I love that movie."
Yeah,
own it. Almost brought my VCR here in case we couldn't find it. And then it was like, okay, you said.
Yeah, when I knew we had you coming on, I was like, well, let me just look and see how much it is so you don't have to dick with your VCR.
I got two. It's cool.
Yeah, it's all good in the hood. But we actually have one, too. I haven't dusted it off in a while. Hopefully it still works. But I looked it up on Amazon. It was like, I don't know, $7 or something. It was nothing. Yeah. It would be here in time. So I was like, well, hell yeah, I'll just go ahead and order it. $7, whatever. It looks like a blast. So we're going to check that out after the fact.
Yes.
But what you had responded to me was, you're like, oh my God, this would make a great pairing with
The Boy.
That's
2016. Right. And I thought, since the second movie is kind of harder to find.
Mm-hmm. And The Boy 2?
No.
Cruise Control?
2 Cruise Control. I wanted to pick a movie that I thought fit thematically without being like, oh, we're going to do a Chucky movie, which I love that franchise. It's great. Yeah. But one that had a doll in it. Something
that's trying to ride its coattails, but doing a poor job is way more fun.
Yeah. There's actually rewatching it, I've thought of a couple other movies that are all garbage that would be great double features with Pinocchio's Revenge. But The Boy, I thought, would be just a fun kind of I know it kind of flew under some people's radars, flew under mine till I rented it.
So if you're not familiar with The Boy, I don't know about you. I watched it on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is streaming on Netflix. If you've got Netflix, of course you do. It's free. Everybody knows that. You don't have to pay for a subscription or anything. You just log into somebody else's. But The Boy is a PG-13 2016 horror thriller of a 1 hour, 37-minute runtime. Has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6 out of 10 on IMDb, 3 out of 5 on Common Sense Media. 82% of Google users like this movie. Now, I have always been suspicious when it comes to horror, especially, that you can't trust... You just can't trust anything.
No.
You can't trust any ratings for anything.
Especially Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Yeah, so this had a release date of January 22nd, 2016, directed by William Brent Bell, screenplay by Stacey Menear. Stars Lauren Cohen, James Russell, Rupert Evans, Jet Klein. Who the fuck is Jet Klein? Oh, never mind. Jet Klein, Ben Robinson, who just looks like a thicker Christian Bale, Diana Hardcastle, and Lily Peter. So that is your cast. Mostly this movie mostly consists of Rupert Evans and Lauren Cohen.
Wasn't Lauren Cohen on Walking Dead?
Yeah, she was. She got very famous for being on Walking Dead, which I will say, as somebody who watched Walking Dead for a really long time, she was one of the better. She was one of the more easily believable actors on the show, in my opinion. There were a couple really standout roles on that show, and hers was one of them.
Yeah. Rupert Evans, I know from Man in the High Castle, the Amazon Prime series. He was great in it.
Yeah, I have actually heard nothing but good things about that show. I've never watched it, but I'm like, as we'll get there at the second half of the podcast. Yeah. We'll talk about what you're watching. And I have been dipping in on a lot of series that I'm excited about, but we're here to talk about The Boy. So, Jeremy, if you would, tell the good people who have never seen The Boy, spoiler-free, what you might read on the back of the box set, the DVD, the VHS.
The VHS.
For our friends overseas.
So you have our protagonist. I already forgot her name. You know, the girl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Lauren.
Lauren. She has accepted a job over in England as a nanny for a young boy.
Fucking score.
It is the sweet life, Zach and Cody. She's going to be room and board. She's going to be paid handsomely for months on end. She is also apparently escaping maybe something that happened early on.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Maybe like a relationship gone awry.
Yeah. Nice way to get rid of that. So when she arrives, she's pretty surprised because the parents are older. They're almost like grandparents.
Yeah.
And she sees paintings of their child, who is Brahms. But when she's introduced to him, he is a porcelain doll.
Yeah, creepy one too.
As
you might imagine.
Disturbing porcelain doll.
Yeah, the likeness is just... It's weird because like later in the movie they show a picture of Brahms, like an actual a photograph, and the doll resembles the photograph so much stronger than it resembles the painting that they keep showing.
But
yeah, great doll. Like whoever did prop design.
Yeah.
Mwah.
When she's interacting with, the mother is showing her the daily kind of routine of. Here's what you do. You wake him up. You dress him in his day clothes. You feed him. You don't throw food away.
I think we're getting into spoiler. Okay. I think we're getting into spoiler territory. So maybe, I don't know. I guess I would just say maybe the dolls. Maybe it's supernatural, spooky time.
She's very confused because the mom is acting like it is a child. She is holding it. She is kissing it. That is one of the rules: is you have to kiss him goodnight. It is to her a child. The dad is a little more detached.
Yeah, and I would say that's a really good description of just kind of what we got going on here. So from here forward, we're just going to go full tilt spoilers.
Hell yeah, we are.
If you want to watch The Boy from 2016, fucking knock yourself out. If you want to stick around and listen to all this, honestly, having already watched it, I think that even after having it spoiled for you, it still has rewatch value.
It's 97 minutes as well, so it's not very long.
Yeah, very breezy. Very breezy,
It's on
very
Netflix.
fun. Yeah, and it's on
What else are you
Netflix.
doing?
What else are you doing? Yeah, are you still watching? Are you? So, yeah, full tilt spoilers into it. Man, there's some stuff I really like about this, and first and foremost, I want to give it up to fucking Diana Hardcastle and Jim Norton.
Okay.
The parents of the baby, I thought they were just fantastic.
Yes.
Because that old lady, I was like, ooh, this bitch is stone cold. And she's really selling it, man.
And then
she's
she put
selling
stones
it hard.
in her coat. No.
And then she just put stones in her coat. I'm like looking at a picture of her on the internet. She looks like such a nice lady.
Yeah.
But man, just being able to sell that like hard bitch energy, mad props. And that Jim Norton just seemed like a cool old man.
You know what? He spelled it out plainly. She just didn't get it at the time. When they're in the garden, and he's like, "It's not what you think."
But he is still very much here.
Yeah, yes. It's like, in rewatching it, I was like, oh, right.
Well, I had forgotten. Like, I had seen this before, but it's been probably since 2016, and I forgot. Here's the biggest spoiler for the movie. He's a real live grown adult man, and he lives in the walls.
Yes.
So the doll is not magical. He's manipulating it. He just has like secret passages to get in and out of the house. It's creepy as fuck.
Haven't said, where the doll starts like, it seems like it's moving on its own.
Oh, yeah.
It's like looking in certain directions. There are a lot of sounds. But I think the movie does a great job of really playing up the supernatural angle.
Oh, it does.
I watched this with my girlfriend who did not... First time watch was in our old house where I had to have it down very low because the bedroom was like next to our living room. So I had like subtitles on, at a whisper so I couldn't hear shit. And was really surprised by it. And she was into it because of how much it played up the supernatural angle of what is going on. But like, red flag for when, there was a peanut butter jelly sandwich made for her. Yeah. Like, that is some poltergeist, telekinetic shit. It's one thing if a chair moves a foot across the room. It's another thing if it makes you a sandwich. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's fucking a sandwich
creepier.
you like.
It'd kind of make the hair on the back of your neck stand up like it's been observing you and it knows what you already like. Exactly. That gets a little more... I did like that angle with it. And I like the way they stuck there until, like, it is kind of a big payoff when you find out that he's a grown man in a weird, creepy mask. A creepy doll mask thing or whatever. Yeah. And he's fucking huge. Brahms is not skipping the gym.
Adult.
Yeah, he's up in that motherfucker.
Well, if you're climbing your own jungle gym inside the walls of your house, you're gonna get ripped too.
Buddy, he's fucking lean and mean, and he's a big sumbitch.
He is.
He's like he towers over Lauren Cohen, who also I thought was pretty exceptional in this.
Yes.
As like me having only ever seen her as that one character in The Walking Dead.
Same.
It's a much different role for her, and to just see her absolutely fucking nail it, I was like, oh man, hell yeah. Yeah. I hope she gets more stuff, which weird she hasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
do you think it's because people didn't watch this because it doesn't have great reviews?
It did,
Like, what stops an actor from getting that momentum? Because I thought a lot of her stuff in Walking Dead, like, she individually, apart from everything else, she is doing good. She got in this. She is fucking great in this.
And that's what's kind of a bummer is that I don't know if it's due to her age or where she can do things like horror movies that are skewed towards it is and I'm not knocking PG-13 horror. I think there's a lot of great PG-13 horror movies. Like, I'm not one of those who...
She probably just doesn't want to play a mom on that.
Well, now it's been so many years. Yeah, it's like, where does she fall? Where does she have to be a young mom? Her character says something like, I know what it's like to lose someone. So I was like, did she, lose a kid?
Well, I think what they're alluding to there is that her ex knocked her around.
Yeah, and like
I think
like,
her ex-boyfriend knocked her
lost
around
a-
and she lost a baby.
That's what I was kind of like. Damn, that's dark.
That actually
For
they
PG-13.
go pretty hard in the paint for
Yeah.
PG-13. But man, I thought she's great in this, and it's a shame we don't see her in more stuff. I'm like, what's that new movie that's going to be coming out soon? It's got Tobey Maguire in it. Like, get her in that. Where it's like he's a carny or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
She'd
have been great.
I
in like
just heard about that.
She'd have
but
been great in like a Nightmare Alley setting.
Yeah.
She'd be great. She's got very classic, good-looking
Yes.
features. You know what I mean? You could put her in all kinds of stuff.
But
I don't
there's
know
a
why.
lot of people, I mean, on the Walking Dead cast who, since then, like, I don't feel like, for as successful as that TV show's been, I don't feel like they've really translated that for anyone.
No, I don't think so.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, except for fucking what's his name, who was in that video game
Oh, Norman Reedus?
by Kojima. Yeah.
But
Norman
he's...
Reedus.
Norman Reedus has, like...
It's weird I can remember Kojima, but not Norman Reedus.
But he had that, like, show where he's, like, you know, like on his motorcycle through cross country.
Yeah.
But
I had a reality TV show. He's like, hell yeah,
but
man. I'm on a motorcycle.
He's, you know, one of the main draws of Walking Dead. But what has he done outside? And I'm not saying, like...
Since then,
you know, Michael Rooker's probably had the most work, and that's because he works with James Gunn.
He got killed in season 1.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of Michael Rooker's work is due to James Gunn. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, which Michael Rooker's fantastic. You know, if you haven't seen Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, or...
I have. That's a good flick. No, that's okay. You go as off tangent as you want. I already told him what the movie's about.
Yeah.
You can fill in a lot of the blanks. We are going to talk more about it, but we can go we got runtime. I think
he's also
baby.
the sheriff. Is he the sheriff in Needful Things? He plays Sheriff Pangborn in one of the like 90s Stephen King adaptations.
Needful Things.
That's getting a 4K release this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
And they're going to have the 3-hour TV cut.
Whoa.
That's only been aired like once or twice. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That is my one exposure to Needful Things, is that made for TV cut.
Really? Tight.
Yep, I had it I think it was actually recorded on 3 different VHS tapes.
Okay.
When I was a kid, because it came on different nights, so it's like in the middle of somebody's wedding reception. It's just fucking the second portion of Needful Things.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool, man. About this bit though, the part that I like is that like they squeeze a little rom-com into this too.
Yeah.
With her and
Rupert Evans.
Yeah, with her and Rupert Evans, because he's coming by and he's like, "Oh, jolly good, I'm fucking British, isn't it? You want me
Doesn't take much
put my
sometimes.
Franken beans in your biscuit, oi."
Full British breakfast or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
Beans and like eggs. That's
all that shit. Well, whatever. I get into it. I bet those beans are great.
I don't know.
Or maybe I bet they're not Bush's baked beans. I bet they're like there's something else.
I
entirely.
think some rich asshole was eating these at one point, and like people thought, oh, that is the height of aristocracy. So everybody at the pubs they started doing these beans.
Well, we call that a slinger in America.
Hey, slinger's chili though. British people don't know anything about chili.
Yeah, well, because that's what we call it over. It's different, there's different shit. Man, you ever had a good slinger?
Fuck, yes, I have.
There's a place in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and it's an old Sinclair gas station called Don's.
Okay.
And it's like fucking $11 or $12.
Yeah.
But you can go in there and get a slinger, and it's like when they hand you the fucking foam container of it or whatever, you're like, God, this is like 3 pounds of food.
Yeah.
And it is disgusting and delicious.
It's
like depression or hangover food.
I made a slinger. I think it was kind of late 2020 because I was missing diner food. And the biggest thing with cooking diner food is making sure you use enough butter.
Mm-hmm.
But I had like leftover chili, so I had that covered. You got to thaw out the hash browns.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because like you can't do that shit frozen. You have to get that fridge cold.
Yeah.
Perfect golden brown eggs, sunny side up, burgers. I went with I did burgers because I was like, I'm going full in.
Yeah, fucking A.
Yeah. I think I just did one.
The ones that I used to get were in this order. So just imagine like a large plate or platter.
Yeah.
You do biscuits, 2 biscuits, open face.
Oh, okay.
2 biscuits, open face on the bottom. Then you're going to do your gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to do tots. Then you're going to do fucking sausage.
Okay.
Like sausage patties on top.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to do fucking French fries, and then a chili on top of the French fries, and then nacho cheese on top of all that.
So that's different than that sounds like
they're different all over the place.
Yeah, that sounds like a
disgusting.
heart stopper.
Yeah, it's like a fucking cardiac arrest. But I'm going to tell you this, if you're 17 beers deep, they're pretty fucking tasty.
No argument here.
Yeah.
In St. Louis, in kind of the St. Louis slinger, so it goes hash browns, goes protein, so a lot of places do a burger, but you can get breakfast sausage, bacon, egg, 2 eggs, however you want it.
Yeah.
Always
there were scrambled eggs in there somewhere too, but
you gotta do like sunny side up or over easy. Like,
see, I never had them done like that, but the ones that I would get definitely did
have
eggs.
You gotta cut it all up because then it's covered with chili.
Yeah, it's
then
just
you got the
slop.
cheese, the onions, jalapenos.
It's just slop.
It was, but it was the only time I've been like, oh god, I just made diner food in my own house, and I was like, I had tears in my eyes as I was eating because it was just, I nailed it. Like,
Just
I don't
really
know if
good
I'll
shit?
ever do it again that well, but I was, I felt very patriotic that day too.
Good shit.
Just American diner, like,
Oh yeah, that's
short
the
order
shit, though.
cook.
So, speaking of short order cook, the lady in this God, what's her fucking name? Lauren Cohen. Thank you, me, for
Sorry,
reading
Lauren.
that off the screen. Lauren Cohen, apologize. But Lauren Cohen, she's not really cooking much of shit. She's eating a lot of sandwiches, which I thought was like, that's weird.
And it's like, are you gonna eat that for 5 months?
Well, it's because she's in the kitchen a lot.
Yes.
She's making stuff to eat. She's unpacking groceries, and I'm like, you got to be throwing most of this shit away because you're just eating fucking sandwiches.
Okay, so Rupert Evans, one of the things he does weekly deliveries of groceries.
Yeah.
He pulled out 2 different bunches of green onions.
Yeah.
And I said, what the hell is she gonna do with that?
Man, fucking onions, tacos, eggs. Like,
No,
you could put them in all. She doesn't do shit with them.
But I'm saying with green onions, but 2 of those for one person for a week?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of green onions. It seems
Unless
like
she is like making stock or... like she's like making deviled eggs and like sprinkling it over.
Yeah, there's a lot of there are some weird choices in this.
A lot of weird produce.
There's a lot of weird produce things. A lot of weird grocer choices. But as like that being said, though, that's a very minuscule thing that I think most people are like. It's not even. He could have handed her a fucking pomelo.
Yes.
And she just would be like, just go over here in the basket. And most people wouldn't even notice what it is. They'd just be like, oh, it's a fruit.
Yeah.
But I pick up on some of that stuff, and I'm always like, well, that's kind of weird. Weird.
I pick up on
weird.
that
She
stuff,
lives specifically on like fucking sandwiches and wine.
Look, she is 20-something, she's an American woman, so the amount of wine she ingests is not surprising. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't finish when she falls asleep in like the study with that full glass. She didn't down it, like toss it back immediately.
Doesn't toss it back first.
I get she fell asleep, but she didn't wake up and go, oh, why not waste it?
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe that's a Midwestern thing. I don't know.
We're Midwestern, right?
Yeah.
Would you leave it?
It depends on how many I've had.
Would you leave it?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Sometimes, but it's like I shouldn't have made the drink to begin with. You know what I mean?
We've all been there.
Yeah. So as the movie continues, she starts to realize that she's like, fuck, I actually do have to take care of this doll. This doll's actually alive. Something crazy is fucking happening here. So they take a pretty hard turn into that, and she's all in on it. And eventually the grocer guy comes back, and he's like, yeah, but a date. Let me get up in that snatch, baby.
No, she misses the date because she wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah, and she was locked in the fucking attic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, worst place to be
Then,
locked.
fell asleep in there.
Yeah, right? Not where I'm from.
No, God.
It's fucking, it is 9:24 p.m. on a Friday night in September right now, and I guarantee you it is every bit of 170 degrees in the coolest attic in this county.
Yes.
Like, it's just fucking so insanely hot up there. I don't know. I don't know about overseas. I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems equally as humid, but maybe a little cooler. So I don't know. It just seems like it would be sweltering up there, and she's just like, oh, I'll fall asleep. Yeah, because it's not like she gets knocked unconscious or anything. I don't think.
Maybe she does.
I should probably refer to my notes here real quick.
Or did she get scared?
I got so much cast stuff pulled up. Intermittently through the rest of this, she's talking to her friend on the cell phone.
Yes. And
her friend is like, oh, hey, your fucking crazy ex came by. And they're like kind of painting up this image of him being like a real scary dude.
Yes. Stalker. She has a restraining order against him.
Right.
And
she's like, you didn't give him my address.
But she left the country.
Right. So this guy, so psycho, I guess, that eventually he comes by and is like terrorizing this child, and I guess her forwarding address was like written down on a scrap of paper.
That's okay,
because
I was like,
because that was another
how
thing.
did
I'm
this
like,
10-year-old?
She's like, he's 10, and he was scared, so he gave the other guy your address. That fucking 10-year-old does not know a British address
that
or
made
wherever
me pause
she's at.
Too. Yeah, like, did he just say sunny old England?
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's over in West Gloucestershire. 810 ring about Gloucestershire.
The 10-year-old told him where you're staying.
Yeah,
if you would have said on like your fridge,
you would have said like 17. Maybe he's a sexual deviant, and maybe it's like a teenager instead of a 10-year-old.
Or maybe if it's like, if they're pen pals and she sent him, her address so he could write by text, but like her friend doesn't have that written down.
They don't fucking write letters. They're doing FaceTime. They're FaceTiming.
Yeah,
they're not writing each other. That's
not
crazy.
On the phone.
It would be like FaceTime you to be like, why the fuck did you write me a letter? And do you expect me to respond to this? That's insane. She finally gets the grocer in the house, and she's like, this fucking doll's alive, motherfucker. Yeah. You got to check this shit before you wreck this shit. And she does the thing. She's like, no, scientific. It's legit. And scientific legit doesn't exactly have a control. No. But she puts the doll in a room and draws a chalk line around it. And then they go in the other room and knock on the wall, and they come back in and the dolls move. Whoa.
Yeah.
Super crazy. But it gets him, like the grocer guy, now he's buying into it. He's like, holy fuck. I'm not sure I buy this completely, but something's
going on.
Something's going on here. Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Is how like when you sat down to rewatch this, did you remember it's a dude in the walls?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, man.
Well, because there's been one or two movies where the reveal's been somebody's like in the walls. And I remember like really liking that reveal.
Yeah.
When he comes out of the mirror. I was like, oh, tight. Like, it's not supernatural. I'm kind of more into that.
It's a real physical dude that's just been fucking with you in unforeseeable ways. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
Well, and the mom remembered when she, like, was leaving, whispers to her, like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you for bringing me back around to the folks. So, the folks are like, oh, shit, we're going on holiday.
We'll be back in a couple weeks. Or
we'll be back in maybe a couple weeks.
Months.
We haven't been on holiday in so many years.
Like 18 years.
Yeah, because we've been looking after Brahms, the
boy,
the porcelain boy. Who? Here's why though. So Brahms, when he was a little boy, he fucking killed the neighbor girl.
Yeah.
And then when they were about to pin it on him, he burned the house down or set the house on fire. And I guess that's why he like wears the mask, because he's all burn victim-y looking.
Yeah,
he lives in the walls now. But he's still alive, but they have this weird porcelain boy because he's just fucking crazy, I guess. So here's the part that fucking bothers me about this, though, is like, could we elaborate on how he's crazy? Could I get some more, like, how specifically crazy is he? Because it just seems like he's maybe just a very normal dude.
I think he was a fucked up kid who was...
They did say he's, like, peculiar and stuff.
Yeah.
He's unusual.
Like, he's odd.
Yeah, that was the word they used.
And it's just this kind of tease of he's this little, well, you think he kind of, there was that friend who died on his birthday.
Right.
There was this like fire that they thought, said that's the day he died. So that's the day I'm guessing he like killed this girl. Parents were like, "Oh, you're not our son anymore. You're this like
entity in the."
So
entity.
I think the doll is more projection for the parents.
The mom more specifically.
Especially the mom, because the mom's like really where they say like the dad's like, he got like drunk one day with
he's like it's all a lie. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Because the kid's still alive in the walls. And maybe if the kid, like, if they could get him out of the walls, it'd be like, fucking take that mask off. Let's get you some plastic surgery. You go to therapy. Maybe get locked up.
Like,
you got to serve some sentences for murdering people or whatever, but learn a skill.
Well, and there's also, there's like a burnout part of the house that they actually never really go, or they keep doing that one window that's kind of got the, like, fire damage outside of it that's like boarded up.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know if they ever really go back to it.
I don't think so.
Interesting thing in the beginning is when she's in the garden and she's doing the rat traps.
Yeah.
I noticed this watch around that they have his initials on them, the BH. So he like made those rat traps that are around the garden.
Because he's eating the rats. Is he eating them, you think?
I thought he was eating the leftovers.
He's like the wife's paranoid they'll get in the walls. And he's paranoid they'll get in the walls.
He
they will because he lives there.
Yeah,
he eats the leftovers. That's what's up.
That's why they're in the freezer.
He hasn't put out the rat traps so the rats don't get in the walls because he lives in the walls.
Yeah, that's his house.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's pretty good. That's good. That's good connectivity. That's good sinew. So the parents that shows later when they're like, oh fucking baby, maybe we ain't coming home, and they send a letter back to Lauren. Back to Lauren Cohen.
No, it's addressed to Brahms.
Oh shit! So they send a letter to Brahms.
Yeah.
And they put stones in their pocket and walk into the ocean. It's pretty heavy.
It's metal.
For a PG-13 movie, it is pretty metal. Yeah. They just pick up a big fat round stone.
Bunch of stones, they put them in their coat pockets, they hold hands and walk into the ocean.
Into high tide.
Yeah.
Into high tide, like that takes commitment. You're not accidentally drowning in that. No, they had to like fucking fight their way out there to fucking drown themselves in the ocean. It's crazy. Good scene though, like well shot. I like the way there's something about the look of this, like aesthetically, like the look of it, the way the lens that they're providing you to see through in this. It's got just beautiful definition. I really like the palette for it, even though it's kind of one note for most of the movie, but it lends itself to those scenarios. Like when the husband and the wife are getting ready to walk into the ocean and they're on that like gray beach with the gray stones and the black edge of the cliffside and the dark ocean, and just it fucking looks cool, man. It's a good look.
The cinematographer's Daniel Pearl, who did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No shit.
Also was the director of photography for the remake as well.
Oh, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good looking film.
Yeah, they're both. Have you seen like a good transfer of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I don't know. I think that like I've seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 times.
Yeah.
And the second and third time, I did notice that they looked a little different.
When's the last time you watched it?
One of them was like sloppier looking, I guess is the only way I could think to put it. It just looked not as neat and tidy.
So,
and I kind of like that one more.
I've seen it. I've seen it a lot of times, but I've seen it kind of through that's like lifespan on home video, which I find fascinating.
Oh, I bet.
Where, I saw like an original VHS and I bought the first DVD, Pioneer Entertainment put that on DVD and I was like, this looks amazing. But then I saw Late Night Grindhouse back in, I want to say 2011, showed an original print from that run in 1974 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that was incredible to witness because then I got to see.
Is that the one that just looks grungy? Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know another way to put it. There's probably a better.
It was shot on like 16 millimeter, and it was cheap. But if you haven't seen the restoration from, I think, 2014, it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I love seeing how films can evolve. And I still think it's a very effective film because it's just, a lot of people talk about the documentary feel of the first movie.
Yeah.
And that's because it looks like shit, I think. But it's effective in another way, even as the transfers get better.
Right, yeah.
But Daniel Pearl knows what he's doing. I looked him up before I came on, and he's apparently done a fuckload of music videos for decades.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, since early 90s. That seems to be the main way he's kind of getting his living, which good on him.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. Music videos seems like good. Fuck, man, that's got to be drying up though. Writing's on the wall for that shit, right?
It's not like if you look at the late 80s and early 90s and all the directors that came out of music videos to now, yeah, I could see that. Like David Fincher.
Yeah, just to name a few. See, here we go. Oh, nailed it. Oh, 2-pack. Oh, one for the deflection.
Damn.
Those are for a SoundCloud I'm going to build in here someday. Oh, man.
You need a beer?
Yeah. You got a spare in there?
Yeah. You got the gold.
Oh, shit. So, that's cool. That guy's got experience in doing other things. Are there any, off the top of your head, super notable, this was a hugely popular music video and he did this one?
I could have told you yesterday when I looked this all up. Apparently he's worked with Mariah Carey a lot. You know what?
Well, I mean, Mariah Carey seems like a lovely woman. He's music is not.
He was doing but he was doing videos with her back in the late 80s. So
shit.
He rode that to all the money. The money kind of going from that, especially if you think about when music videos were actually shown on cable TV.
It must be nice that if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality for production. They're
wouldn't you kill for to have the music video on Fantasy in constant rotation and
I would kill
get residuals.
I would kill to do fucking audio editing for an awful TV show. What's a bad TV show?
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't watch them.
I don't know.
Billions. Probably. I don't think anybody's ever seen Billions. I think they just keep making it.
Yeah.
Have you seen Billions?
No.
Yeah. Neither has anybody.
No
I don't
has.
know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what network it's on because nobody's fucking seen it. It had The Rock maybe for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that Paul Giamatti looking motherfucker.
Yeah, no.
Or wait, was Paul Giamatti?
It is
Billions?
Paul Giamatti.
It is Paul Giamatti.
I just thought you were calling him that motherfucker.
No, there's another guy that looks like Paul Giamatti, but he's funny. He was in Stranger Things. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know either. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck, now I gotta look it up. Brett Gelman. That's who I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah.
Brett Gelman. He's like a funnier Paul Giamatti.
I see that.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I'm just kind of a Paul Giamatti character. Let's step on the gas as far as comedy. And it works for him. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But I also do love Paul Giamatti. I'll fucking
champion
champion him forever. He's hilarious. He's a hilarious everyman, and I like his enthusiasm. So this thing kind of climaxes. The ex-boyfriend shows up at the house, and he's like, "Bitch, I'll beat your fucking ass after a while."
Oh,
he's like,
yeah. He's like, "You're coming back with me."
Yeah, you're leaving with me. We're getting away from this doll because the doll
He walks in and sees, who's this kid you're taking care of?
It's a doll, and he's like, "Okay, psycho."
Yeah. Yeah.
as literally anybody would. It would be like, Are you
sure?
Okay. Did I should just go turn myself in because I obviously have been I have been a train wreck for your mental health. So I'm just gonna show myself the door. I'm gonna fuck off back to wherever I'm from.
Yeah.
And you get some psychological help. So he comes back in the middle of the night, the doll, quote unquote.
Yes.
Writes "get out" on the door in blood.
In blood.
Yeah.
And he's like dripping blood on because he passes out because he's probably drunk.
Yeah.
Or jet lagged, but he's probably drunk and jet lagged.
He gets up and he's like, "Katie, get the fuck down here," or whatever her name is. And she gets down there. And Greta, yeah, thank you. And he's like, "Did you fucking do this?" And she's like, "No, it was the doll. But the doll's in that room already magically, even though she was in the other room." So fun stuff there. And then he smashes the doll which I want to come.
So good. That smash on the chair is so good.
I felt that.
Even the second, like I did forget the doll got smashed.
I felt that way down in my plums. Like it was a good one. I was like, hell yeah, bro. You fucking just turned that motherfucker into powder.
Like, close up on the eye.
Oh yeah.
After is so good.
And the guy's an absolute asshole. Yeah. So I don't know if he's in anything else. I didn't recognize him from anything.
No.
But he's pretty good at just like being fucking kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Thought he was great for that. He smashes that doll. I'm like, that's shot just beautiful. Like you feel the impact and it's great. And then he's like taunting the doll because the house is creaking or whatever. He goes up to a mirror and he's like, shh, I think I hear it. And then the real Brahms pops out, smashes.
It's like
the
a double-sided mirror.
Yeah.
And he smashes out of it. And still a good reveal. I guess it's kind of goofy when he starts like crawling out, like coming into the actual house part.
Yeah. They want to make it like kind of blur the line between haunted and supernatural and just a man, a creepy wall man.
Creepy wall man.
Creepy wall guy. So he gets a hold of Greta and he's like, and she's like, stop. It's time for you to go to bed. You've been bad. Like, I like the way she just pulls the mom card on him and he's like, oh yeah, mommy.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't say anything.
No, but he's like,
that's what he's about because he's a grown man.
Well, because his mother established all these rules for him. So it was, I think that's why you had to talk.
It's fucking good Oktoberfest.
Dude, right? Like my favorite.
It's a good
probably in the area.
Oh, go ahead, continue.
The mom has created this whole schedule, and that's why part of the rules is you have to talk loud because you have to project to the walls where Brahms is watching.
Yeah,
so that's
like when he
wants it's time to go to bed.
He wants the music on.
He knows it's time to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when he's actually in his childhood bed and he asks for a kiss, you're like,
because he's real creepy. He's got his burn victim face.
Well, he's also got that kind of like neck, like beard going on.
Yeah, he does. That part's super creepy,
Yeah.
and then she eventually just is like fucking.
Oh yeah, no, she grabbed the screwdriver. I think had it in her pocket the whole time.
Yeah.
So that was her whole setup. Was like, get him to his bedroom, get him comfortable, stab
him in the fucking throat.
Yeah.
The stabby bit, pretty good.
Yes,
I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So then she gets him in, like, she's like, whew, what a night. Woo,
yes.
Crazy.
All right, that's it. Stretch. Yeah.
Yep, and then roll credits. If you had 10, if all your fingers were thumbs, but all those thumbs were Brahms'
doll hands?
The boy doll, just the hands.
Doll thumbs?
Yeah, just doll thumbs. I like that even more. So Brahms' doll thumb. If your fingers were thumbs and you had Brahms' doll thumbs, yeah. How many out of 10 would you give this for as far as 10 out of 10 being a absolutely stirring endorsement of a horror film for Halloween time?
Well, so you say for Halloween time, and to me means a different.
I think this has got because this is not a Halloween movie, but it's horror to me is something I indulge in year round, but I do indulge in more heavily right around Halloween.
Of course.
So as far as I think, like for me, this is going to rate a little higher because I could watch this with my kid.
Yeah,
and I love sharing movies with my kid. But the movies I really, really like are not appropriate for a child her age.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't watch a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
But when I do find one that is appropriate, I love to share it with her. And she also really liked this. So I'm going to say this is one you can definitely watch with your kids.
Oh, absolutely. I lean towards like a 6 or 7. Where...
You got to give me one. I need to know exactly... How many Brahms doll thumbs?
My gut says 6.
You can split the diff.
6.5.
You can do 6.5?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to go 7.
Okay.
I had fun with this, man.
Yeah.
I think the thing that lent itself the most to me was I have seen this movie before. I forgot it was a dude in the walls because that's the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like they really do hold that last card until the absolute last second.
Yes, they do a
and I
great
think
job
that's
of making you think it is
something else entirely.
supernatural.
Yeah, the misdirect or the switcheroo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's a twist because it doesn't seem twisty. Because it could have always been an option.
There's like two types of, there's a twist and then there's a reveal.
Right.
And this is a reveal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where
they hold on to it so long though.
Yes.
It's got the right amount of tension.
Absolutely.
So speaking of the right amount of tension, how do you feel about marionettes? Puppets. You like puppets and marionettes?
Sure.
We're going to do the thing that we already talked about earlier. We're going to go watch Pinocchio's Revenge.
Yes.
And Pinocchio's Revenge is a
1996.
it looks like a hoot. I mean, if you check out our Instagram or just even look at just even Google a picture of the fucking poster for this, it looks like a hoot. I went out and purchased it, so I'm really excited to sit down and watch it. We're gonna go check that out. We will be right back. Here's some tunes.
We're gonna get up in it, boy.
All right, we are back. We watched Pinocchio's Revenge. Can you believe it? That's a 1996 R-rated horror slasher movie. 1 hour, 36-minute runtime. 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb. 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. 76% of Google users liked this. As directed by Kevin S. Tenney.
Yes.
Distributed by Trimark Pictures. Stars Rosalind Allen, Candace McKenzie, Louis Van Bergen, Ivan Gurin, best guess, Todd Allen, Ron Canada, and Larry Cedar. All right, I got to tell you, I know the real question on everybody's minds is, Danny, how do you feel about spending that $7 on Pinocchio's Revenge?
Yes, because you would not let me bring my VCR.
I'm feeling great about it, man. I'm feeling good. I think
it's a solid purchase.
I had a lot of fun with this. There's a really weird mechanic as far as how they make the movie, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll get there in a second. What would you say that this is about?
Oh boy. Okay, so you have a guy in a raincoat who is burying a dead kid.
Yeah.
In like the woods. And then a cop kind of stumbles upon the scene, catches him in the crime.
Freeze, motherfucker.
Yeah. French fries, motherfucker. And then
first prize, motherfucker.
Supplies, motherfucker. First prize.
Cross eyes, motherfucker.
Curly fries.
The internet has just ruined everything for everybody.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on.
Perpetuity. I said peppertuity, but that's not a word. So next day, as they're looking at the crime scene, they also find that there is a wooden marionette. So it is has strings attached.
Oh yeah.
Also buried where they found this child. Why they didn't find it the night before, I don't know.
Super weird.
They just
it's in a big mound.
The cops all look at each other going, "What is that? What is it?
What the fuck?" And they just freeze frame.
Cut forward to a few years later during this trial. His name is Vincent Gatto.
Right.
Which I thought it'd be like Vincent Geppetto or, like something.
Vincentetto. Or just anything that's Geppetto-y.
Yeah.
But it's not. But it is Geppetto, essentially.
And he is on trial for the murder of his son.
Yep.
But there are also maybe other linked murders to him and his defense attorney, who's, I'm guessing, work for... Because it sounds like she is... When you can't afford attorney,
she's like a public defender.
She's a public defender based on, I'm guessing, her other client we briefly see in the movie.
Right. Who looks just like a sick puppy.
Not the sick puppies, but a sick puppy.
Just a sick puppy. He's got a bandana. I bet they call him Brandana. I bet his name's Brandon. Maybe not.
Yeah. So they're at trial with all of this, and she ends up with this puppet marionette. It's a marionette. It's not really a puppet.
Yeah.
It's a Pinocchio in her office. It somehow ends up in her car, and it presents herself. Her daughter. She's got a daughter. She's divorced. You know, they moved. Her dad moved across country.
Yeah, the kid kind of falls in love with it, and maybe it's
an
possessed
accidental
and evil.
birthday gift, but is it accidental or was it on purpose?
You know, it's not really considered a pro move, but in a pinch, you could pass off a cursed item to pretty much any baby.
That's right.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what's happening. So I kind of forget how much of a slow burn. A movie as schlocky as Pinocchio's Revenge, is it fair to call it a slow burn? But
okay,
it takes a minute for the payoff to happen, but it is absolutely worth it.
So the rest of what happens is pretty much that
we're going to spoil it. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, it's super spoily from here on out. So Pinocchio, he talks a little girl into cutting his strings, and then he's on the loose. And
he actually starts talking.
He's going to do some murders. The
Pinocchio
bits with him
movie.
Talking, it's pretty funny.
Amazing.
I'm really digging that. But and he's doing a little stabby. It's Chucky pretty much, but he's bigger.
Yeah. Do you know who plays Pinocchio when he's like walking around? Vern Troyer.
Vern Troyer for real?
Me. For real.
That is fucking hilarious. That's awesome. So that part's delightful. But what I want to go back to, the feel of this whole movie, to me, reads as a, like, early 2000s Oxygen, Lifetime, whatever movie. But like triple the production value of anything else they've ever done. Yeah. So it just feels like a high production that. And then it has this weird fucking puppet in the middle of it that sticks out like a sore thumb because the movie still has that same vibe. And by the time the puppet starts to come to life and you see it like doing all these sinister things and all that, at that point, well, you're like, fuck, I'm all in. I'm all in because even though this is old and it's schlocky and I've been watching it, it's got a point. There's conflict. You understand the characters. The characters have motivation. Like that, the soap opera-y part of it is, for somebody who's not, that's not my cup of tea, but for what that is, it's not bad. And then you've just got this fucking crazy puppet mechanic at the end of it. And it's a lot of fun.
You know, this is Trimark Entertainment, but since it was a direct-to-video, they had their own video branch that was called Vidmark. They had pretty decent budgets. They did, like, the Leprechaun franchise really before they later were bought up by Lionsgate, or maybe even Artisan Entertainment. It's kind of this whole weird... You had, like, Live Entertainment, you had Trimark, and I can't think of the other one, but then like Artisan Entertainment was the other one.
Yeah.
And I don't know out of where Lionsgate was formed that bought all of these smaller companies kind of to make them a bigger one, but Vidmark and Trimark had like decent direct-to-video budgets because still the direct-to-video market was good and it was profitable for a long time. This had, this movie was 1996, but it didn't come out until 97. And it came out to a completely different world. It was a post-Scream world. And that completely changes the trajectory of this film.
That is very true. Like, that's super accurate.
Yeah.
Just already knowing that those tropes exist make part of this... You can kind of see where it's going.
And it seems like a throwback.
Yeah.
With Scream being, in on the joke, movies like this just seem quaint and kind of they were out of touch.
Yeah.
That was a very big thing that drove the video market, and then everything got turned on its head, and this is...
Yeah, a year before that, I don't think this would have necessarily been a hit, but...
it probably would have done decent up until December 1996 when Scream came out and then just blew that all to hell.
Man.
But
I had a conversation today about like, painful stabbings in horror movies. And I was like, man, in Scream, when he's like, I think you got me too deep. And he like, it looks like he's going to pass out. That's fucking brutal. But speaking of brutal, there's some good stuff in this.
Gonna be so mad.
There's a bit where the lady gets her fucking hand stabbed through the door.
Yeah.
And then you can tell it's like a jelly looking kind of prosthesis or whatever. But it, like, you can tell that's what it is because of the day and the budget. But the way that it's cut into it, it looks pretty good. You know,
the special effects I popped up on this time, and I've probably known this before. I've seen this movie multiple times.
Yeah.
Gabe Bartolos, who worked on, like, Frankenhooker. I think he did some of Brain Damage. He is a special effects artist that has been around. He did Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Dude is insanely talented and can work with any budget. He did the makeup for Leprechaun. Like, he's somebody who can work with just a, like, crazy talented dude. So I'm not surprised that, like, the special effects are decent.
Yeah.
He's probably worked with Kevin Tenney before. I don't, off the top of my head, know, but Kevin Tenney's no stranger to horror. He did Night of the Demons, Witchboard. Yeah. Like, Night of the Demons is a Halloween classic.
Yeah, I've seen that several times. I actually wouldn't mind to do that on a revisit.
Yeah.
That's a fun flick.
It is. I really like Witchboard.
I don't know that I've seen that one.
That's his first film. Came out in '86. It's like Tawny Kitaen. Is that her name?
I have no idea.
You know the Whitesnake, the chick from the Whitesnake videos?
Oh, yeah.
That's her.
Okay, gotcha.
She uncovers a Ouija board and, like, there's a whole possession angle.
God, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. It's probably one of those you'd watch it, you'd be like, oh shit, I saw this, like, as a kid.
Yeah.
There's a couple sequels to that. I really like 3. I know I talked about that on a episode of Destroy the Brain. The dude knows his stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Even if he's not maybe a master's genre, he's a workman. Like, constantly producing stuff since, like, the mid 80s.
Oh, that's good, man. That's cool. That's cool having a good breadth of work. I like when we get multiple cameos and throwbacks to other episodes and stuff. That's I like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them so far have been production companies. Like, we haven't put a whole lot of fucking thought into it necessarily.
But I think what kind of cracks me up with this is the daughter comes so attached to Pinocchio. She's like, brings him to school one day and, somehow trips her class bully that's on a bike.
Yeah, his okay, so what happens is Pinocchio's in the bushes, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I fucking hate that Susie or whatever her name is. And Pinocchio goes in the bushes and he's like, I guess he tells a lie and his nose gets huge.
He has to, but then it like shrinks.
Yeah.
They never pay pay that joke off.
Okay. Now, this is going to be common knowledge by the time that this comes out, that we are in the middle of a Pinocchiassance. Pinocchiassance.
Geppetolution.
It's a Pinocchio
It's a Geppetolution. Yeah.
You get it. Geppetolution.
Got him.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we know that we're in the middle of that. The fucking Disney Pinocchio movie just came out. There's a Guillermo del Toro one that's going to be coming out, stop motion animation in December. There's a Russian one that's animated with the guy from SpongeBob SquarePants and Bill Hader. Not Bill Hader.
No, you're going too highbrow.
Nope.
John Heder.
Yeah, I was going too highbrow.
Are you sure it's John Heder? The first one? No, John Heder, you're right. What was the first one you said?
The guy that voices SpongeBob. I don't know his name.
Maybe it is.
I think it is.
But if you haven't, we're going to watch that trailer later because it's going to blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, we'll see it. I bet it's insane.
The voice of Pinocchio, my jaw dropped watching that trailer.
There's also going to be a Pinocchio video game.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is. It's called The Lies of P, which is a terrible fucking name for a game. Yeah.
And what happens when P lies to her?
I have no fucking idea, but it sounds awful, and I might play
What
it.
happens to P when it gets too cold outside?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just for, I guess
he
don't
get-
eat the yellow snow.
If he lies, does it get big? But if it's too cold, does it get too small?
In this scenario, is his nose just a penis?
I mean, you said it.
It lies of penis. It lies that his penis gets bigger. That's the
Is
game.
It's
a Leisure Suit Larry dressed up as a Pinocchio game.
Is there a porno version of Pinocchio? Whenever he lies,
guarantee it.
his dick gets bigger.
I guarantee it.
If not, let's talk.
We'll make that. Because evidently the IP is wide open. You can just make Pinocchio fucks Geppetto.
It is an Italian based like fairy tale. So
is there a bit where Pinocchio's in a whale?
Yeah.
There's a bit where he's in a whale?
Yeah.
Maybe he fucks the whale. I don't know.
Wow, I didn't want to get like to that part, but okay.
Well, if it's going to be a Pinocchio porn, what do you got to make it? Because
I mean, it's just two pornos.
Stromboli's the puppeteer, I guess. Because Geppetto's just the wood carver, but that also lends itself to storyboard porno information. Anyway, Pinocchio's revenge. So what he does is he fucks everybody to death. He doesn't. He likes to get stabby, and he's fucking with the kid, and
yeah.
He just is trying to get him to kill people.
Where the movie takes a turn is when they actually show him talking. Because the little girl's talking to Pinocchio.
I think it looks okay. I mean, like, for the day, what was the year on this?
96.
Ooh.
It looks pretty good. For direct-to-video budget.
For direct-to-video, yeah.
It was probably like
true.
$2 million. It looks great.
Released in 97, but to be made and finished in 96, that's, the look is actually pretty good when Pinocchio starts talking and shit. I'm liking it.
But when he gets his strings cut, it turns into Child's Play.
Oh, definitely.
Not a complaint. I love that franchise.
Nope, I'm into it. So I think we've got plenty of other shit to talk about.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much more I've got on this. I will say the acting in it, I guess, is okay for what it is, but what it is being is like a Lifetime made-for-TV soap kind of thing.
So I think that a lot of I think the people that are really into movies are all on like their own journeys through movies. There are plenty of people who will watch the same handful time and time again, but like what you do, where you watch the gamut.
Yeah,
and
I'll just all of it.
Where I am in mine is I have a very zen like approach to movies where I think everything's exploitation. Like I love Lifetime movies on principle.
Oh, I've seen good ones. I'm
not even saying that they're good. I'm just saying like they are made cheap, fast, and they are usually pretty entertaining. And I watch a lot of Hallmark. Sorry.
Hallmark,
because Hallmark is also exploitation.
They got a little higher production value than a bunch of
Not really.
You don't think so?
No. Yeah, sure. They may fly people to, exotic locations and shit.
God, I thought you were going to say they made the movie Fly People. And I was like, I've been missing out on some shit then.
I mean, they make so many movies so quickly. By definition to me, they are exploitation. They start shooting their Christmas movies in like August and put them on air in November.
Right.
And that's amazing to me. That is that short of turnaround, with that short of days. I watched one recently that was about...
crank it out.
They do. It was about tennis. And there was one scene where it was like raining and they were still on the tennis courts. And I was like, why the fuck are they... And my girlfriend, she said, that's because they had so many days to shoot at this tennis court and it rained and they had to still shoot. And I was like, dude, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, they just crank these puppies out. Yeah, they may take people to Hawaii, Iceland, and I'm convinced they shoot like 2 or 3 movies at a time in these exotic locations. They'll space them out within like a year or two. Because they're not going to waste this crew in this exotic location for one fucking throwaway movie. Because they're all interchangeable at the end of it. Like, nobody can tell you the name of a Hallmark movie.
Right, yeah. No, I don't know the names of any of them. And I wouldn't say it's skewed. I'm just saying for me, that's the feel that this has for the breadth of it, really. And then it's got this weird fucking puppet that's just it's in there and then it's not in it for 10 minutes and then it pops up again and then it's not in it for 10 minutes and it pops up again and then at the end it's just like remember this and I like you got me to watch this Lifetime movie where I was like that, man, that girl, she needs to shape up at school. Why is she biting other kids? That shit's fucked up. And mom, she shouldn't be fucking heavy petting with her fucking boyfriend while her kid's still awake.
You know what? That's not her fault. Her kid won't go to sleep.
It was Pinocchio. Exactly.
People have needs.
We better tuck them both into bed. It's just, it's weird. I watched this whole Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
And then also got this weird Pinocchio movie at the same time.
And I mean,
I kind of liked it, man. I liked the way it was like, you're getting both of these things, whether you like it or not.
There is a lot more. And I for the amount of time, I mean, last time I watched this movie, I was working.
Yeah.
While I had it on, I did a double feature of this and Dolly Dearest, which I also would completely recommend.
Oh, yeah.
All the parts with like the other client she picks up who's like accused of killing somebody was just like, what the fuck is this part?
Yeah, right.
With the pound puppy, or what'd you call him? The hush puppy? I
don't know. What did I call him?
I don't know. Hush puppy. We'll call him that.
Hush puppy.
Which guy we're talking about? Like the guy who's like, I like killed him and recorded it.
Oh, yeah, Sick Puppy.
Sick Puppy, yeah. I don't like Hush Puppy, but...
Yeah, Hush Puppy's probably equally as good, if not better.
You know why? Because he probably should have hushed when he was talking about all that shit he did.
That's true.
I have a soft spot for direct-to-video 90s horror that I will never apologize for, so...
Don't I know it?
This movie's not easy to come by. It is not streaming anywhere.
Yeah, that was the thing, is it was either you were going to bring your VHS or I was going to buy it, because we couldn't stream it or rent it anywhere.
And it wasn't even up on YouTube.
And I will say this is one of the more fun things that I've watched in a minute. Like, it was fun in more of an interesting way, because it was doing this thing where it's cramming two independent properties that don't belong together. It's like smushing them together and being like, here's this movie. And it weirdly worked on me because I thought it was very charming. I liked it a lot. If you were going to do anything differently with Pinocchio's Revenge, what would your dream scenario be? Present day.
So I would trim some of the fat with the defense attorney, public defender.
Yeah,
there's a lot of setup of that, and it doesn't need to be that.
She can be a lawyer. That's fine, but we just don't need the courtroom stuff because it doesn't go anywhere.
You could do it for the accused killer who had the Pinocchio doll in possession.
Yeah,
but like too much time was spent with the other guy. I don't know. I think I would kill more people. Like. Higher body count?
Yeah, maybe that. More, I would say dial up the Pinocchio stuff. I really like the bit when the little girl came in and the boyfriend had the Pinocchio doll and he's like, let me tell you about Pinocchio. That lore building shit, that's cool. Maybe put an old fairy tale book in there somewhere where we get to read a page or two out of it, see a cool couple illustrations or whatever. That gives it some authenticity, some weight to the oral retelling of the story.
If this movie isn't proof that Pinocchio is public domain, I don't know what is.
I guess I would make this shit something I care about. Like, I like that little girl assaulted the other girl who was being a bitch. And I like that she fucking went Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield.
And that was pre-Pinocchio. That's the crazy part.
Pre-Pinocchio?
Yeah. When she bit her ear, that was before she got Pinocchio as a gift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So she's just like...
That's the Lifetime movie. Like, this girl's lashing out, She misses her dad. Her dad's not around for whatever reason. Her mom's got a boyfriend what's he like? He's making out with mom.
So that's like... That's like, well, I guess it makes sense. That's like 90s Lifetime, where for the most part now it is either women trying to kill other women or it's men trying to kill women.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which, 10 out of 10.
Right. The fucking I think another thing I would probably do is it's just story related. It's there's not enough Pinocchio stuff in it to really call it a Pinocchio movie, except if you didn't call it a Pinocchio movie, you'd be like, what was the last bit about? Where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was just called Raising Sarah or whatever the little girl's name was. You know what I mean?
If they had
it would just be weird as shit, but it's kind of weird that it's called a Pinocchio movie because it's 6 minutes. How much Pinocchio content is really in there? 10 minutes?
I mean, I think there's probably more than you think.
15?
So it's a lot like The Boy, where they let you think maybe like, oh, the little girl's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, bam, no, this motherfucker's talking. So it's a buildup of like that. It obviously doesn't work the same structure-wise as like something for The Boy, because there's no big... The big reveal is like when the lips start moving and you're like, oh
yeah,
my
you're
God.
Like, oh my God, it's really alive.
But, yeah.
Pinocchio. I'm digging pretty much everything about it. I think my favorite parts is when you could tell somebody off screen just threw the puppet on screen.
You gotta eat that
like
puppet.
You could
sometimes.
just tell somebody was doing the puppet eat, and man, I was all about it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Good stuff for that. Is there anything else that you'd be like, this has got to go, or I would like to get somebody else in place of this character or actor?
I don't think so.
I thought most of the cast was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. They were fine. The story was boring.
So there's something that kind of fucked me up, if you remember at the end, where I was like, wait, stop. And I was like, rewind for the credits. Yeah. So there is the credit for the second assistant director for Pinocchio's Revenge. That was as W.M. Brent Bell. And I was like, that's familiar as shit.
I don't know who that is. Who is it?
No. Here's what's crazier.
What's crazier?
The director of The Boy is William Brent Bell. But I looked it up before we were recording, and this William Brent Bell from Pinocchio's Revenge is not the same as the William Brent Bell that directed The Boy.
Oh, that is fucking crazy. Two William Brent Bells that are different.
Kind of working in Hollywood.
Way to fail your fucking stage name. You just picked another guy's very specific name.
Yeah, the director also did, his first movie was Stay Alive from 2006.
Stay Alive? I feel like I might have
That's
seen
like the
that.
cursed video game thing.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, it's not bad. He recently
right.
did Orphan First Kill.
A better idea than it was Execution, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up, the unrated cut, and it's a little bit better than the theatrical.
Yeah.
But
the theatrical one I watched, I was like, well, that's just super predictable. The stuff looked cool, though.
Yeah.
I was very into all the visual stuff. I'm like, that looks fucking
The
great.
DVD, though, if you can find it for cheap, it's fun because it is structured like a game where you can pick up the DVD menus, you can pick a player, and you can pick a weapon, and then you, go through the game, through the DVD menus, and you try to kill, Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 William Brent Bells in Hollywood, apparently. Who would have thought?
That's not me. Well, not for that specific of a name.
Not for
you
that
guys,
specific.
You guys fucked up.
Not for that specific of a name, and not for this genre. That's because I was like, is that the same dude? And it's not, and that is wild to me.
That's crazy. Fucking. So let me ask you this: if all your, the thumb thing that we do.
Yeah.
If you had 10 thumbs and they were all fucking Pinocchio's noses.
Oh shit!
What are you doing with those Pinocchio nose thumbs? How many of them you gonna throw down?
Oh, I'm throwing a 7 to 8.
Well, you got to pick one.
7.5.
So just go middle of the road, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give this an 8. I had a blast.
I
with
mean,
this.
I'll do 8.
I'm really happy with this purchase, and honestly, I am going to rewatch this again.
I really wish you got the 2005 DVD and you were like, I bet it's bootleg, but it is a Lionsgate.
No, I was just
release.
like,
no. I totally understand why.
No,
you
we
would
were
think
just
that.
chatting. I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder, because we were talking about like different formats and shit like that, and I was like, I wonder what the DVD bootleg man is doing now, because he's not bootlegging DVDs anymore. He can't be, is he? Still for a living. That's where the money's at, baby.
Yeah, there's an unfortunate history of catalog titles that Lionsgate has bought through all these different companies I mentioned, like Artisan Entertainment, Vidmark,
Right.
Trimark, Live Entertainment, where they have not given them proper aspect ratio releases, because this is full frame, like the tape. They did that with Chopping Mall back when it came in on DVD.
So what he's saying in layman's terms is, when we watched this movie, it had the black bars on the right and left sides of the screen. Yeah.
Where it was not shot in, that ratio is called 4:3.
Right.
That is what TVs were up until, TVs got better.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously,
So-
TVs got better.
It'd be really nice if they, Lionsgate has this whole Vestron Video kind of line they've resurrected for Blu-ray releases. Will we get Pinocchio's Revenge as a release? I doubt it.
I don't know. I would say, man, honestly, since they're just fucking remaking everything, you could remake this right now and just cash the fuck out.
I mean,
if you made it good. If you made it at least...
It's the year of the Noki, though, and people, if you haven't done it already, what are you going to do?
I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go watch a bunch of old movies and go, which one of these things can I dress up to make it look like a different thing?
Yeah.
Instead of thinking of an original idea. But you know what? The longer we go, original ideas become farther and fewer.
Absolutely.
I did like this, though. I thought this was a fun flick, but that's all I got for Pinocchio's Revenge. Next segment of the show.
Hey, what you watching?
What you been watching? I know that you listen to the show.
Yeah.
But anything, video games, movies, film, TV. Fucking books, comic books.
Okay.
What have you been getting into lately?
I'll start with a comic I just recently finished this past week, kind of savoring the last bits of summer, I guess. I can't think of the publishers who put it out. I apologize, but it's called Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream, is that a...
It is a horror comic.
Okay.
It has been I have the first trade.
Is it like the movie Ice Cream Man?
It is not.
Okay.
It is shitty 90s horror. Yeah, I'll talk about Ice Cream Man next summer on this podcast, probably.
Be a good summer break movie.
Yeah. It's this... So each issue is kind of self-contained, and it is about people in different places of life, usually on the bad side of it.
Yeah.
And then you have the Ice Cream Man who shows up, and he is sometimes this existential threat. He is this cosmic threat, and it is like this ancient type of evil. The way the last issue ended was like, oh, is it building toward like it's almost an anthology, but at the same time it's still building towards like, what exactly is this Ice Cream Man that shows up in every issue? And sometimes he delivers punishment to the guilty. Other times
cool.
he provides like release. I don't have the creators off the top of my head on it. It is a friend.
And it's called what's the name?
Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man.
Yeah. Friend gave me this trade for volume 1. I am gonna buy volume 2 because I am so intrigued by this. Really, not that I ever questioned this friend's taste, but just really like, damn, that was so much more than I was kind of expecting.
I tell you what I like, man. If somebody is like, hey, gives me a really solid comic recommendation, I like to check it out, especially if it's not a huge investment. I got referred to me. One of our listeners on Instagram referred to me a comic called God's Country.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick that up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we're recording this, 3 more episodes are going to come out before this one. It makes our recording schedule weird. So I actually might review that comic book before this episode comes out.
The future from the past, past to the future.
I'm telling you, man, it's like that movie, Forward to the Past. You know which one I'm talking about. Time Cop. Time Cop 2, Cruise Control.
2 Cop.
How do you feel about, are you a Game of Thrones guy?
No, I have not watched any of it. I tried reading the first book.
Yeah. Not
couldn't finish it, yeah.
I didn't get into Game of Thrones either. I watched the first season, and I was like, this is okay. And then I watched the second season, I got a little bored, and I stopped watching it. And then it fucking kept going for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, they have the House of the Dragon.
Yes.
And I have dipped my toes in on that. Because I'm like, well, it's a minute time investment now. Mm-hmm. Because they are so long and the breadth of them is so big. But it's a prequel, so I don't really have to know the other shit. Like, it would probably be more like, oh my god, that thing, a reference to a thing I know.
Yeah.
But I don't have that effect. I'm just kind of taking it at face value. Pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. Matt Smith is really good in it. Really good as a sinister, slick back bad guy.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's the new HBO show, so I've been getting spammed with it by HBO.
How about Barry? You caught up on Barry?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, I'm not caught up on Barry.
I won't say anything.
I've been watching Barry. I'm maybe like halfway through season 2.
Dude.
Him and Fuchs still aren't talking, but Fuchs is trying to get him on a wire.
But like, what do you think so far?
I'm loving it. Here's what I think.
How much did you know about Barry before watching it?
Just that it was good.
And that was really because that was the same way I went in. I heard it was good.
I knew he was an assassin who went to an acting class.
I didn't even know that. I heard it was Bill Hader. It was great. It was funny and at the same time scary as fuck. Is how people described it.
Yeah, I would say heavy. Yeah, and also very, very funny. I wouldn't throw scary. There are some scary bits in there.
Well, some people were like, "Oh, it's kind of veering into almost a horror movie in some episodes."
Sometimes,
and I was like, "Oh, okay,"
cool,
and just never looked into it when we got HBO.
Great, it's doing a lot of stuff. That show, like episode to episode, leaves you feeling different after every single one.
Dude, get caught up.
Amazing cast. I intend to. I like the way they're short. Because I can sit down and be like, all right, I can catch up on 3 episodes tonight right before I go to sleep. Not a problem.
Exactly.
Because they're 20 minutes.
And that's part of why I love it too. And because it's a short season. Like British television and stuff like that, they know how to keep stuff short. I just finished Wellington Paranormal.
How's that? Wait, does that have Nick Frost in it?
No.
What show am I thinking about? I'm thinking about an Amazon show.
That was an Amazon show.
It wasn't bad either.
Yeah, it only got 1 season. So Wellington Paranormal is the first What We Do in the Shadows spinoff.
Oh, fuck.
It is a New Zealand... It was made for New Zealand TV, and it follows officers O'Leary and Minogue from the movie.
From the movie What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is... They start like a paranormal department of the police.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing. Where's
it's
that
on
at?
HBO Max. So for a while,
what's it called? Wellington?
Wellington Paranormal.
Wellington Paranormal, not the beef.
No.
Okay, just the paranormal.
No. You got to go to and you got to make sure that shit's like rare.
You got to get that shit from downtown Philly.
If you're gonna do a beef Wellington, that's tough. That's like some like Great British Bake Off, like
some Master Chef shit.
That's some last episode shit, yeah. What was so frustrating for Wellington Paranormal, it was, announced within a year or two of after What We Do in the Shadows came out is that it was not available in the U.S. till very recently, like 2020.
Really?
The CW picked it up to show reruns.
Of course.
Because they were...
That's the CW's MO.
Well, but also in the great in the great drought that was content that all these, networks were starved for, they were picking up shows. So they randomly picked up Wellington Paranormal and they were showing it in blocks. So they showed season 1 and 2 kind of at one go. Because it's, I think, 12 episodes total for those first two. 4th season was shot this year and came out this year. And they just posted the last episode. It is, compared to the American What We Do in the Shadows, it is a lot drier. It is a lot...
I don't mind dry. Don't mind dry at all.
Like season 3 and 4 get so good. There is an episode of season 3 where there's a shapeshifter that can turn people's fears into reality. Mm-hmm. And the directions it goes are just so funny. Season 4, there is a Wicker Man parody. And I mean the original 70s movie, not the Nick Cage
one,
yeah. Called The Wicked Man. And I don't know how long it took me until they got to the island, because it's like, oh, there's some girl who's missing who's on this island. And they get there and they see the villagers. So I was like, oh, fuck. Because I didn't see, how episodes start.
Oh, yeah.
As you're watching and you don't know what the title is.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the title was called. And I was like, oh my God, this is a Wicker Man parody.
Yeah.
It's so good. And actually, we made the Time Cop joke. And the last episode of season 4 is called Time Cop, not the Jean-Claude Van Damme one.
That is excellent.
Yeah, it is. Apparently, this was the last season of it. But I know it was also created by Jermaine Clement, who's been
very funny,
hard at work on the American What We Do in the Shadows series.
Oh, he writes for it, or
he's the show? I believe the showrunner of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Jermaine Clement is so fucking funny. And that's what kept me off of the show for so long.
Have you seen all this shit that on Twitter where people are congratulating Taiko, saying oh my God, What We Do in the Shadows is so funny. How did you do it? And Jermaine was replying, being well, he did it by having me write, produce, and direct the show.
Right.
Yeah,
what a prince.
He had me by doing it all. Yeah.
He did it by getting me to do it.
Rice Darby, who is one of the Swearwolves, he shows up briefly. I think it's a season 3 episode. They're looking at something in a park, and he's like, oh, hey guys, just,
Oh, hey, just getting a bowl.
Just chained up somewhere. Just, no, yeah. It's his Swearwolf
just being
character.
A werewolf.
Yeah, somebody gets eaten. He's like, don't know what that's about.
Yeah, right. Doing his very New Zealand thing. Good stuff, man. Funny guy. What else did I check out? I've been keeping up with the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series as a Tolkien nerd.
Yeah,
but not the nerdiest of Tolkien nerds.
So what do you think?
Tell you what, man. Here are the stones that I have to throw at it.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm not crazy about the casting for Gladriel. I've seen
the first episode.
That being said, she's not very expressive.
Yeah.
But what she's probably got to go off of is Cate Blanchett's performance. And Cate Blanchett is very stoic in the Peter Jackson films. So she is trying to do that, and I think we need to see her character arc into that stoicism. Because she's not doing that.
No.
In this new iteration, but she also doesn't seems like she's trying to do that, but not pulling it off. It's going in a lot of different directions as far as storytelling, which I know is going to come together later.
Have you watched?
But I will say, after the first 2 full episodes, some of those side stories, you have not effectively made me give a shit. Like the elf ranger guy and the human medicine, what do they call her?
Healer? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. She's a healer, essentially. But the relationship between them and that other town, I'm like, oh, there's an orc in there. Okay. Just, there are orcs. You know what I mean?
So I've only seen the first episode.
Oh, well, no, I won't spoil it then. But I will say, I don't know. I don't care. Get me back to fucking Elron and I want to. That's the shit I'm interested in.
I do like that. I mean, I like that elf character so far. I don't know if I like them as a character. I don't know if I give a shit about their arc.
Which one?
The one who's interested in the like healer.
Oh yeah,
where they disband their post. Yeah. But yeah, like the real shit is the Elrond Galadriella.
It's not that
that's the interesting the elf politics. I'm into that.
Yeah. Here's what I need is on episode 1, give me 70 and no, give me like 85% of one storyline and then pepper in the remainder.
Yeah.
And then that's how you close the episode. And when you open the next one, give me more of that. And then take me back to the origin. Don't like they're switching back and forth between them and the girl that's like the half foot or whatever they call it, quick foot or whatever
I think it's
I don't know, something
nerds probably
something
yelling,
foot. Yeah, there's nerds screaming out there. I'm sorry, I didn't get through the Silmarillion. It's fucking boring, but I love the books. I love the books and I love the movies, even though some of the effects in The Hobbit are kind of wonky. It has to do with the frame rate shooting thing.
I won't even get into those
Yeah,
movies.
I looked it up once upon a time. Maybe we'll cover it someday. Like knowing that, but those two things aside, throwing those two big stones to throw.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think the effects are fucking top tier.
It looks great.
Yeah. There's but if you haven't seen the second episode, there's good stuff in that second episode too. Like I would say that the second episode is a more interesting episode than the first one, but they're still doing that. Both of them as a whole, it's a lot of jumping around.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like suspend the story in your mind, but it does go to really interesting places. No spoilers. I don't think this is a spoiler. Elrond goes to seek the help of the dwarves. And that turns into a really great, like, a cool fucking thing that I just wish there was more of it. And there might be. You know, it's cut into a weird format.
It's interesting because it's also, like, they've shot the second season, I believe, right?
No shit.
Yeah. They got, like, it was one of those, like, automatic
Bezos.
Approval to
I wonder if he was
seasons.
like, did you see the thing where Bezos is like, they ignored my notes?
I know they're like banking basically everything on this series, which is, I don't know if is the best thing to do.
If they handle it right, it easily could be.
But I think they already shot the second season.
Oh, they are kind of relying on House of the Dragon to flop though. Because those are the two. Man, if you want some fucking dragons and shit, you're only gonna get it one of two places. You're gonna get it fucking on that show with Matt Smith or on that fucking other show with a bunch of people you don't know.
Have you watched Resident Alien?
Oh man, it was referred to me on the podcast, and as we are recording this, I have not watched any of it, but I did put it at the top of my watch list. So like sometimes I have the option to just, watch something while I'm doing some other menial tasks. If it can be like a laundry folding show. You know what I mean? I can put it on, I can follow all of it, but I don't have to watch every second of it. Like I can miss a physical gag or two and still get the overall, like how good the show is. And depending on how good it is, I might get more into it. And that's going to be that is like the top of my list for a laundry folding show, which I intend to like fucking take on next week as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not I will actually have the time remains to be seen, but that's the goal. But I hear nothing but great things. Alan Tudyk is fucking incredible.
As of this recording, the second season is still ongoing. The first season was a pretty big breakout hit for sci-fi, which is awesome. I've watched a lot of shows that have been canceled on sci-fi.
On sci-fi? Hell yeah, man.
And that's okay, but it's not. So with the second season, they initially had, I think, like 8 to 10 episodes, but then it was doing so well, they gave him 16 episodes, so they cut it up in 2 pieces, and that was kind of great, but it was at the same time we had to wait, because it came back in like March 2022, and now this came back, I think, in like late July for that. So there's still 8 episodes for the second half of the season. It's already been renewed for a third.
I hear it's fucking incredible, man. I
Alan
really want to
Tudyk
check it out.
is great.
Classically trained Alan Tudyk. Juilliard trained, I believe, Alan Tudyk.
The other actors, I think, are great as well. There's a lot of, like, it starts out funny, but, like, there's a lot of heft to the show, and, like, some
learning human emotion and that shit.
I don't want to say, but there's an episode in this kind of block of the season that deals with, like, death in a very direct way, which was, like, really, like, fuck. Like,
yeah,
it's great, but I was like, okay, I wasn't really expecting that from my alien who's like trying to pass off as a human. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, it sounds like a silly concept and a thing that's been done 100 times, but just the mention of it and be like, well, who's the alien? It's Alan Tudyk. That immediately makes me want to check it out.
Yes.
But it's good to hear that it's, like, weighty also, because Alan Tudyk can fucking act his ass off. And I've seen the rest of the cast and it looks like a decent fucking show.
And there is nothing wrong with doing something that is either cliche or stereotypical if you do it well.
Right.
And this show nails it.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
Let me think of what else I've been watching. I've been checking out some other shit. What else I've been into? I watched like half, and then I fell asleep of, this is a weird thing for me to say I watched, but Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, okay.
I just had never seen it.
You should have done the whole, we should have just talked about all, like, fairy tale based movies for this, right?
I put it on because I was, like, flipping through channels. I like to have the TV going when I go to sleep. It helps me sleep.
Yeah.
The background noise. But the light does bother me, so I always look for something dark. And normally, horror movies fit the bill. So I will just put them on, turn it way down, watch 10 minutes of it, not fucking hear what's going on, and then I'll just pass the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that with this because I watched a little preview deal on Netflix, and it was, like, really dark. And I watched, 25 minutes of it, and I was like, seems like it's actually pretty good. And then I fell asleep. So I did like that bit, but I don't know, it's not like I finished it or anything, but I did watch it. As far as other stuff, man, I have not been getting up to shit this week. It's been a real motherfucker of a week. Well,
yeah, this week for myself, I mean, I did want to briefly talk about, I watched Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann film.
Yeah, how was it?
Hit HBO. Wild.
Do you care about Elvis before you watched it? Enough. Yeah. I'm not an Elvis guy. Like, I just have always been like, yeah, cool.
I like Elvis.
I like a couple of jams, but, that's just me, though. But I was curious how the movie is.
So, if you don't know, it's told from Colonel Tom Parker's point of view, who's played by Tom Hanks. It is full on, like, Great Gatsby, Moulin Rouge, Luhrmann, where it is montage, but the way they set it, and it is obviously like an idealized version of Memphis. Like, Beale Street never looked that nice, even if they tried.
That's crazy. I love going.
They leave out like
Street,
details like Sun Studio, because I was really into I was very fascinated by the origins of rock and roll and how regional it was. And,
have you been to Memphis on Bill?
Yes,
on Bill?
I've been to Memphis twice.
We've gone to Bill like 4 or 5 times now.
I've only been to Bill once, but the first time I went to Sun Studios, but I did go to concerts at the High Tone Cafe, which, if you know, was Elvis's old dojo.
Yep.
Which is now a music venue.
Right.
That's actually, I saw Guitar Wolf there twice.
Yeah. We went to, last time we were there, there was literally a bar fight at the Coyote Ugly, and I watched a cop spear a dude who wasn't wearing a shirt on that cobblestone road, and it was fucking awesome.
Well,
yeah, I took a bar stool out of a guy's hands, and he turned around and looked at me like he was going to beat my ass. I was like, you don't need that. And he was like, all right, and just charged right back into the pot. It was crazy.
wow.
I'm not a bar guy, though. They like give me a lot of anxiety. I don't like big crowds of people for shit. But
I can understand that.
It was every time I have ever been to Beale, we have always had just an absolute blast. Love that place. I hate to hear that like it's just getting rampaged by fucking crime and people getting assaulted and mugged and stuff all over the place. It's crazy.
It's, there's a lot of similarities in Memphis to the St. Louis region that I find kind of fascinating. But the movie itself, I think, like, Austin Butler as Elvis is great. He really embodies him. I had some friends who made a joke where it's like, he's so good at speaking like Elvis, you almost need subtitles for part of it.
Right.
Because you can't understand what the hell he's saying.
I get that.
There's a lot of truth stretching, and it's a biopic, so they skip over shit, some of the unsavory stuff. I heard it was wild, I saw the kind of the clips, like the whole like, oh, he's white. He's white? What do you mean he's white?
Right.
I was in it from the beginning, and I really dug it.
Good casting?
Yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks' accent is like, what is this? It's not even a Kentucky Fried accent. Like,
one of those?
It's just out there. But I would recommend it if you're into it. Like, I don't know, if you're open to something that's...
Check it out. I'll check it out just on your recommendation saying it was good. How many Elvis thumbs... How many pelvis thumbs?
Oh, I mean, I would give it like
without a full review.
I would give it a 10 out of 10 kings if I could.
10 out of 10 pelvis thumbs. Huh?
Ooh, 10 out of 10 pelvis, yeah. I mean, and not like because it's great, but it is an experience.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's still important in movies where all this stuff is driven by all these different types of people for something that's not based on a comic book. Yeah, it's a biopic, but
so tell me, speaking of films and biopics, how tell us the biopic of what Jeremy Jones is up to.
What I'm up to? Well,
tell us about like where can people check out your other stuff. Tell us about Destroy the Brain. Tell us about Late Night Grindhouse.
Yeah,
tell
of
us
course.
About your trivia night.
I had that breath of, kind of because October is my busiest month of the year.
Right.
Like I'm sure it is for a lot of people's. So destroythebrain.com, we're a podcast website, an event. We do events in the greater St. Louis area. The biggest, the reoccurring one is Late Night Grindhouse. It is,
Get into it.
Fridays and Saturdays, usually the second or third of the weekend of the month.
I am going to make a point to make it there sometime between now and March.
And I know winter gets less busy for people. So yeah, totally. I mean, up until like October 31st, I am booked, and then like November, I crash.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of people kind of do. I don't know. But the next Late Night Grindhouse in October is October 14th and 15th, Marcus de Pere Theater, and it is Lucio Fulci's Zombie.
Oh my God, the OG?
Yeah. If you have not
that's
seen
a good ass movie.
Zombies, a 1979 film. It came out after Dawn of the Dead.
That plays into... It does a really good job at playing into the horror of the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, just a fucking absolute great classic.
It is. So he showed this, I want to say it was like...
Is that what they're doing both of those dates?
Yeah. So it's one movie a month, and it's 2 dates. You have the Friday night or the Saturday night, movies at 10 p.m.
Nice.
There's usually like a 10 to 15 minute pre-show, so people kind of get settled. There's like 3, you know, there's like a couple trailers related to the movie. Then he always previews next month and goes straight into the movie. If you've never seen Zombie, this is the 4K restoration.
Fuck.
Which I saw when he showed this. He showed this at the High Point, which was Late Night Grindhouse's first home.
Yeah.
And that was the new Blu-ray restoration when it came out in 2011, and I was blown away. I was also like 3 sheets to the wind.
Oh yeah, it's probably the only way to
but
do it.
I know this. There's something about Fulci that just makes me want to get like super drunk, so I can't do this on this round because it's too far from home.
So
I'm older and I'm wiser. But
Italian director.
yes,
right?
Lucio Fulci's an Italian director.
Right.
When I rented this as a teenager, I had no idea this was an Italian movie because I wasn't savvy enough.
Right.
I should have known because, you know, it's weird, but it is such a solid, like, the kind of siege at the end of the movie is like everything you want as a zombie movie as a kid. Where you got these people kind of hold up, they got guns, they're like blasting these zombies, but they just keep coming. Like, it's fucking great. It's all on like a beach island location. I can't say enough good things about Zombie. And that it's a 4K restoration. It's going to look the best it's ever looked. That like 2K 11-year-old transfer blew me away. So this is going to be even better.
Well, I watched this in like 2005, so it has been a fucking minute.
Yes. So if you're able to make it, great. Tickets, I believe, are $10 for that. You know, bars open, I want to say till like 10:15, 10:20. So like if you're getting a drink going in and you want another one, get 2.
Yeah, get you
close your
sidecar.
tab before you come in because they need to close up their shit.
Right.
I think you can buy a beer through concessions though. But if you want liquor, you're SOL.
Yeah.
Next one is we also do a horror trivia night at the Heavy Anchor. That is in South St. Louis. I used to know the address to that. 55005 Gravois. And that is at 8 p.m. It is $10 per team, up to 5 people. October's always our biggest show.
Okay.
We encourage people for this one to dress up in costumes. If your whole team is wearing costumes, you get 100 bonus points. Doesn't have to be themed. If everyone's in a costume that isn't like Superman t-shirt, you know,
right.
like you can't like wear a Superman t-shirt and be like, oh, I'm Clark Kent.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like, I mean, if anybody in the area is listening to this and is like, fuck yeah, I would love to do that with Danny and some of the It's Just Two Movies crowd, hit me up on social networks. Man.
Yeah.
We can make that shit happen.
And you can,
we can do a little meetup, have a couple of drinks. That'd be a blast.
If you're, want to register for Horror Trivia Night, our website to do that is horrortrivianight.com.
horrortrivianight.com.
Yeah, we somehow got that unlocked.
First one,
Who the hell would have thought?
Well, I tell you what, do you know why the name of this podcast is Just Two Movies? Because I had a list of fucking 15 names.
Yeah.
And I Googled every one of them. And this one just slowly grew on me. And we're so Googleable. Like, I Google other podcasts.
I Google you all the time.
Yeah. So, I've heard of some other podcasts, and I'll Google them every now and then, and sometimes they're like the first 2 results were like almost the first whole page.
Yeah.
Which is cool, man. It's fucking sweet. It's a very niche thing. But yeah, that sounds great. I would love to get down on some fucking horror night trivia.
You know who you should talk to is Doug Wicker to see if he's going.
Speaking of trivia. I got a couple of questions for you.
And
then we'll have you plug any socials, and then we're gonna close her out.
All right.
But what I want to know first, what makes Amityville 1992? It's About Time, the superior film in the franchise.
It is just balls to the wall insanity. It is unhinged in a way that I think a lot of even direct-to-video horror is not. Did Doug send this?
Yeah, I believe that was from Douglas Wicker.
Yeah. I think what makes it better is that it's just so I mean, it's the effects, it's the director, it is everybody is fired. It's the composer. Everyone's firing on all cylinders for this direct-to-video, fifth in the franchise movie.
Right. Everybody's giving it their
everybody's giving it their all. Exactly.
Next question. This is by I'm gonna butcher your name, Raymond. I'm so sorry. Enyart Raymond?
Okay.
That's probably a reference to something cool, and I'm a nerd. Hold on.
Also a nerd.
Train Raymond, maybe? Maybe it's a palindrome. Who knows? What's your favorite song to jam out to? Jam out, though. Not just
jam? Like kick out the jams?
Yeah, you put your fucking punching the jams, you pounding some brewskis. What's your jam?
Wow.
Right now. It doesn't have to be like what you listen to on the way down here.
You know what kind of got me going on this drive was Iron Maiden's Flash of the Blade.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works out.
Okay.
I listened to Billy String's Dust in a Baggie was the first thing I put on when I have you ever heard that?
No.
Probably not. It's very like bluegrass, but like, I've done a bunch of meth and now I'm in jail.
Ah, yeah.
And it's really fun. Like, and the kid playing the guitar, Billy Strings, is fucking insane. So even though that's not usually my type of music that I really get into, I do love bluegrass, admittedly, but I just don't listen to a lot of it. But man, God, that kid is fucking going bonkers on that guitar, and it's great. Here we go. Last question. This is by Justin Brosson 02. Scream 6 wrapped filming. What are your thoughts on how that will be? Also, what are you drinking?
Well,
I think it's probably in reference to what you were drinking earlier. The Oktoberfest?
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about that off mic, or was that?
I don't know.
Anyway, go give that a little plug.
I brought a 6-pack of Civil Life Oktoberfest. That is Oktoberfest, Marzen's Fest beers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Favorite fucking style.
Same.
This is my time of year where, honestly, the amount of beer I drink now is a lot less than I used to drink, but this is like the 2-month period where it's just like, it swells.
Yeah, there's some really good local pumpkin beers in St. Louis.
That too.
I don't know if this stat is still correct, but it used to be true that St. Louis, Missouri had more breweries per capita than any other city in the U.S.
I can believe that, and that's because it's at the, confluence of 2 major rivers. So the water's great. There was only a little bit of shit in water. Even before Prohibition, there was like 34 operational breweries in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
When Prohibition hit. So now to be at the point where we are in the metro area, even including Main and Mill and Festus.
Oh, yeah.
I need to pick up their Oktoberfest. I don't think I've ever had it. I'm glad they get distributed. They actually get distributed up in St. Louis, which is tight.
Obviously, Birdman, who's on the show, works at Modern Brewery. We can't get that down where we're at, so he's kind of my link to that. Yeah. But anytime I do go to the city, I stop by a couple of choice places that do actually have it.
Yeah.
My God, they make some great fucking beer.
Well, if you come to the city, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll link up.
We'll get some fucking tacos and slam some beers or something.
I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question?
What you drink? The first one was Scream 6. Oh,
Scream 6.
Yeah.
How
do you think that's going to be?
So, honest, right now I still haven't seen Scream 5.
It was good from memory, but I also can't remember what happened in
it. I really like the people behind it. They used to be go as a collective as Radio Silence. So they did you ever see Ready or Not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was them. They also...
I think that was the second episode of the podcast we ever did. It was our second episode ever was Ready or Not.
What was the second?
I fucking loved it. We did Ready or Not, and you know what? Let me just pull it up here real quick. 2 seconds. Oh, we did... it was the third episode. We did Ready or Not and Hellbride.
Okay,
which was like a student film.
Okay.
kind of thing from memory.
That's
maybe
all right.
not, but wow, it was good stuff.
Yeah. I am, as long as they can keep Scream interesting. I know this is the one, apparently it's going in New York. Scream 6. It's set there, like in Manhattan, New York metropolitan area.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I don't know. Let's see till the wheels fell off. Do you
Try
remember?
it out, yeah.
I do know that. Do you remember when people were bitching from the preview for the 5th movie? They had the ghost face and the like silver mask and the flamethrower, and it turns out that was from Stab.
Right.
And I think that's genius that they put that in the trailer to throw people off. Like, oh, this movie's going to be really weird. Guess what? It's not. It's
a movie inside that movie.
So if they can pull off shit like that, I don't know. It made the 5th one made money. Of course, they're going to do another one.
Yeah. And the 5th one, from memory, not bad. But honestly, I don't remember it.
And
so I would rewatch it. I remember a stabbing in a hospital corridor.
I know it's on like Paramount Plus, and I keep meaning to like do a sneak preview.
Maybe
do
check
like
it
a trial.
out. It's cool.
I definitely want to.
It's cool to see Nev Campbell again.
Sure. I mean, I like David Arquette.
I wouldn't say that's worth the price of admission, but yeah, I like David Arquette too.
I wish he would. Have you seen his movie he directed?
Which one?
The Tripper.
No.
Dude.
Is it crazy?
It's so good.
You're going to have to check out The Tripper on your own. We are at time here. We're going to close it out. If anybody wants to check out your stuff, Jeremy Jones, where can they hit you up at?
You can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter, even though I don't tweet a lot, at JBonzy. That is with a Z. JBonzey. I am still on Instagram as of this recording at Vaccinated at Camp Blood, because I can't think of a better one.
He will be forever. Yeah. All of his posts are flagged for COVID-19.
I know. It's such a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good name prior to a global pandemic.
Well, it was in related to. I did like this pop-up 2019 called Long Night at Camp Blood, Friday the 13th base, and I changed my Twitter, Instagram name to that. Then when when the shoe dropped, I became Isolated at Camp Blood, and then somebody's like, "Oh, you should call it Vaccinated at Camp Blood." But now I'm like, if you have a good idea, anyone out there, for my Instagram handle.
Good Twitter for Jeremy's Instagram handle.
Yeah, good Twitter for my...
Email it to itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com and I will forward it to him.
Fuck yeah.
Or at It's Just Two Movies on Twitter, Instagram, or obviously at Vaccinated at Camp Blood on Instagram for Mr. Jeremy Jones, or at... whatever on Twitter. What was it again?
JBonzy.
That
is Twitter and Letterboxd.
With a Z.
With a Z.
And I really need to catch up on our Letterboxd.
I
do it like once a year.
I just listened to the episode with Doug that you were on Letterboxd, so I need to follow you. But yeah, I'm into Letterboxd right now. I may fall off. But that's just how I am.
If I was doing it for myself and wasn't also doing all this podcast stuff, I would be into it.
Yeah.
But it's just like another fucking thing I have to do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe once a year I'll sit down and crank it out in a day or two. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys are doing well out there. If you're listening in, we appreciate you telling a friend. We appreciate you reposting any of our content anywhere. I appreciate a review really goes a long way, helps other people, find this same silly ass fucking podcast that you like, helps people just like you find it if you leave us a review and a thumbs up or a rating or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're on the YouTube, leave us a subscribe if you could. I think that's all the shit I have to plug. Wait, it's not. If you're going to buy some shit on Amazon, we have an affiliate link in our episode description. You can click that first before you put shit in your cart, and it gives us a kickback. Weird, but it's a thing you're already going to buy anyway. If you're going to
buy Pinocchio's Revenge, you might as well do it through his affiliate.
Yeah, damn straight. And on our Facebook, which also exists, that I never plug, I do post on there, and I'm like, would you like to add these movies to your collection? Here's the link.
Yeah.
So they're just right there conveniently for you if you don't want to hunt them down. I try to get them in the highest resolution as possible. But we appreciate you guys. And as we say here at the end of every episode of It's Just Two Movies,
stay out of trouble.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that phone talk! for a one-eyed Batman!
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin, businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
I just wanted to throw out a couple of special thanks for the folks that make this show possible. Big thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams, Lamplighter Production for our artwork, God-Sized and Growing for some musical guest appearances, and Dave, who's our YouTube editor. We probably wouldn't even be on that platform were it not for him. If you want to check out anything any of these amazing people are working on, all of their links are in the description for this episode. If you want to contact the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at It's Just Two Movies. We've got a Facebook page now, so that's on there. You can always leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can email us at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. Okay, yeah, and if you like the show, like, subscribe, leave us a review. That stuff helps tremendously.
If I get really excited,
I tell you what, give me about like two, like the double.
you want like that?
Yeah, give me about like.
Oh, like okay.
Like about like that.